when I myself was affected by infidelity. This is the book I wish I had back then. I got switched out. The man I'd been married to for 14 years chose someone else. He, the one I'd gone through good times and bad pregnancies, caring for infants or family members who'd fallen ill. We had celebrated a number of anniversaries, started our own businesses. He was the one I thought I'd be growing old with. Questions swirled around in me. How could he cheat? Why did he reject me? Is there something wrong with me? Am I unlovable? Or is he just the type that can never stay true, no matter who he chooses to live with? Is it the confirmation he's seeking? If so, does that mean that I would never be enough? While caught there in the eye of the storm, it was painful. So painful. So painful to talk about what was happening. I couldn't even confide in my nearest friends. The risk of facing a question I wasn't ready to hear, was too great, and my husband wasn't giving me any answers. In this book, I've gone on the hunt after both the objective and the subjective answers. I've examined what the research tells us about attraction, infidelity, and fidelity. And I've also sought out the experiences of ordinary people via in-depth interviews. I met a man who had a mistress for 4 years. I met a friend of a woman whose previous partner had lived with a parallel family in another country. Someone who was dating 4 men, and a man who was the other man. This deed, as old as humanity, might mean one thing to one person, but something entirely different to another. To some, it rings the death blow to an established relationship. To others, it's the way to save that relationship. And for many others, infidelity can be revenge, confirmation, titillation, or even a strategy toward a specific goal. So is anyone capable of cheating, even you or I? And is there any way to shield, to protect our relationship against infidelity? Questions I'll answer in this book are: what is infidelity providing that our official relationship lacks? Or is there any? Can we learn something from it? What are the signs? And what are the risk factors? Should we tell? And is the old once a cheater, always a cheater true? Or could it be that we simply expect too much from our relationship these days, get disappointed, and therefore look elsewhere? And when our cheating partner gets caught, we often hear "it's never happened before, it's the first time." But is it really? So during which affair, the first, the second, or the third, do the unfaithful usually get caught, statistically speaking? And finally, are we even meant to be monogamous? Alongside the story of my own experiences, you'll get to follow 2 other individuals, Vera and Joar, as they live as cheaters. We follow them through a long and critical time in their lives, beginning with their initial relationship troubles and speculation whether cheating ought to be their path going forward. Both have stories grounded in the dynamics of their relationship. And more than that, you'll get access to the most important research results from studies about infidelity. Seeking to understand why we cheat has been one of the most powerful journeys I've undertaken. The tales you'll get to experience, to read about in the book, expose the naked truth. Emotionally charged and suspenseful, they promise unexpected twists. Personally, I feel an extra nip of pride over the fact that this book is a kind of opus that has never before seen the light of day. Other books addressing the subject almost exclusively discuss how we can heal after we've been cheated on, how we can rebuild our relationship, our trust. So my goal was to follow the inner reasonings and outer actions of the unfaithful, step by step. This is what makes this book unique. You'll be following actual people as they struggle over what we've been taught to be right or wrong, and how to balance their own needs against others' expectations. And also our dilemma over what we ought to be satisfied with. Is a functioning daily life enough? Or do we eventually reach that point where we need to upturn our lives, our desires and dreams, to decide whether that's enough or not? Deep down, though, this book is all about being human, about our human relationships, the things we all desire and need. Because I know that here, within infidelity, we can find many of the answers that we've been seeking, and learn what it is that makes life worth living, and even what it takes to make our relationships, our committed relationships, marriages, last. I invite you to join me on my journey toward understanding one of the most taboo activities that human relationships can engage in. One of those life events that affects us most deeply, most starkly. One that can throw us into the darkest night. Let us understand us. I'm convinced that you'll be as surprised as I am. Thank you for listening.